Next role, after the treasurer. What's the next role that the new club member, now that they've paid, is going to be engaging with? Why? Why are you here? Their why? What's your why? That's the fundamental role of the Vice President of Education, is to find out what that new member's why is, why they're here, and to help facilitate them achieving their goals. Their why may be that I want to become more comfortable speaking in front of an audience when I give presentations because I have to do that at work. Your why may be that I have my brother's getting married next year and I'm or in 3 months and I'm the best man. I have to give a speech. You know, I don't care what it is, nor should the Vice President of Education necessarily care specifically what it is, but try to understand what that person's motivation is, what their timeline is, what they're expecting to achieve, and to help them facilitate getting to that goal. That's tough. Now, how do they facilitate them getting to that goal? Okay. Sorry? Schedule them, sorry, yes, schedule them. Yes, schedule them. What did you say? What did you say, Bob?
Signing roles.
Signing roles. Okay, that's also scheduling. And what? Mentors. Okay, mentors. Okay, so those are two, because I think two are the same. Those are two really important responsibilities. Mentors. The Vice President of Education is responsible for assigning a mentor to that new member. What's a mentor?
Someone that's going to help them along their way.
Yeah. and hopefully they have what skill?
Speaking.
They don't have to have a good speaking skill. They just need to know more than what the new member does. Significantly, a little bit more would be helpful to help them along the way and help facilitate it. A mentor should be a facilitator. They should be able to listen and observe and say, here's what you need, I think this is what you need, and they may not have the answer, but they should be able to facilitate getting the answer to that member. So that's what a mentor should be able to do. You know, if that person wants to become a better public speaker, and if the mentor isn't a public speaker by their nature or by their career and hasn't done a lot of public speaking, they're not necessarily the best mentor, but they're not necessarily a bad mentor if they can facilitate getting that person in contact with a person who is good to help them on specific aspects of what they want to achieve. Not the whole thing, but just because there may be club officer roles you want to mentor them on, and also other aspects which you could help them with. So you have a mentor. You have to assign a mentor. That's a pretty important thing. Who chooses who the mentor is going to be for a member? It often is the member says, I want you. I like you. I've heard you speak. I love what you do. I want to be like you when I grow up. And so they'll say, I want that. Now, that may not be the best mentor for them, and the VP Ed has to coordinate that and say, or you may not have the bandwidth to do it. So we have to try to figure out, are you the right person? If you're going to be away 6 months of the, or 2 out of the next 3, 2 out of every 3 weeks away and not be able to support that person, are you the right person? But that person may want you. So it may be okay if the person wants you bad enough and willing to put up with the fact that the person's not going to be there or doesn't have all the skills. They want them bad enough, they're going to listen, they're going to grow. But it is up to the VP Education to work with the member to try to figure out the right mix. It's find that marriage. That's a big task. Now, we also heard about scheduling. Scheduling is a huge task. Huge task. If you got a club with almost 40 members and you only meet for 1 hour and you're trying to get, 4 speeches in so everybody can get their level 1 done in the next year, that's a major task. Trying to, herd cats, are you kidding me? Trying to get everybody, but I know that one club in this room is doing that because I'm the club mentor for that club. And I know that they're trying to, it's challenging, try to do all this stuff. You got a brand new club wants to do everything right away and they're doing all the right things. It's tough. But the VP Ed is responsible for scheduling. Now, how the heck do you schedule? If everyone is at the same level, okay, that's easy. But most clubs have a mix, a homogeneous mix of people who are still working on legacy systems. They still haven't finished their first CC that they started 10 years ago. CC being a confident communicator, for those of you who don't know. and people who've been on pathways and who are in level 4 in pathways and champing at the bit to get level 5 stuff done, and they want to get some of those opportunities, and especially longer speeches, and they need the time. So how do you balance all these needs? It's tough, but that's their job. Now, can one person do all the tasks of a VP Ed? Short answer is they can, but it's tough. It's not fair to them. If at all possible, finding someone who's responsible for mentorship, finding someone who's responsible for schedule, finding someone who's responsible for doing some other aspects of the meeting, maybe tidbits at the end of the meeting, what happened during the meeting, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Some things that are of value that the VP Ed is typically responsible for, having someone assigned by the VP Ed to do that is a good thing. Anything that they don't have time for or bandwidth for, it's it's good to engage other people, especially if you have a club with enough members, because there aren't enough roles to support a club with a large membership. If you have a club that has difficulty finding people stepping up for club officer roles, you can still work with people and say, look, I'm not asking you to be VP Ed, but I'm asking you to help me. And asking people to help you is something that most people are willing to do. To help the club, to be a club officer, but to help you personally, that's the appeal, and that's an opportunity to get people to help out. So that's something you can do. The VP Ed is the most challenging, the most difficult, the most demanding, the most rewarding role. When you see what happens at the end of the year and the growth that a member has, it's just inspiring to see what happens and what you can do to help them, to facilitate them. But it is a difficult job, and don't try to do it yourself if you don't have to. All yourself. I take it you're VP Ed, right?
I am, but I have
All right, so VP Ed, what's after the VP Ed? So now we've got the plan in place. So who was the first officer again that they talked?